You're watching the Mending Roots to Cultivate Communities telethon, coming live from the Denver Community Media Studios in downtown Denver.
And with that, we begin, yes? Hello and welcome. My name is Oren Lamena. I appreciate you guys joining us. DJ K-Tone's in the building. And as you've heard, we are here in honor of National Youth Violence Prevention Week. This telethon is meant to support a very good cause, and that would be the Mending Roots Forest that will be erected in Park Hill, at the Park Hill Golf Course. Youth gun violence is something that is not new to me. And when I was asked to do this, just real quick, I was I was forced to remember how many friends, true friends, that I had lost from graduating to high school all the way up until before the end of the 90s. I'm dating myself a little bit, but that list is 8 people long. 8 people that succumbed to the scourge of gun violence at the hands of other youth. And it hit me for a second. And real quick, I'm gonna bring Toner in here. Toner, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm good. How you feeling, O?
I'm good, man. I'm good. And I know that you can relate to the cause and the reason why we're here.
Definitely. You know, I can relate, where we grew up, how we grew up. And I feel like this is a very important cause. And it was, we have to do our due diligence, man. And yeah, it was rough.
It doesn't, it's not lost on people who come from urban experiences, just how this, can tear apart a community, right. Families. Yeah. And over the course of the next 6 hours, we are going to dive deep into these subject matter. We're going to get into the nuts and bolts, from stories from victims, perpetrators, in fact, gun rights advocates who actually support the cause. And the whole purpose for us is for us to come together. It's called Mending Roots, to cultivate community and build a consensus, and also raise some money for a very good cause. That cause is planting, again, 200 trees at the Park Hill Golf Course. And we're going to raise $50,000 in doing that.
Yeah.
We're going to raise 50 bands. And what I'm going to do is, I'm not a rich man, but I figure I'm put my money where my mouth is. So I'm going to, at least as far as I know, be the first donator, and put $100 toward this cause. And if we can get 100 people to donate $100 for every hour, we'll more than reach our goal of $50,000.
I think we could do it.
I think we can do that. Yeah. So we're looking to you to also provide your experiences, your stories. How has this subject touched your family, your community? Because it is in coming together as community that we can find answers to something that has plagued our communities for far too long. You'd say, yeah?
Oh, definitely.
And so over the course of the next 6 hours, we invite you, K-Tone and I, invite you to join with us. Put it on in the background. You can watch on Facebook. You can watch on mendingrootsforest.com. You can donate on mendingrootsforest.com. And, give your time, give your energy towards something bigger than yourself. We've watched, our nation explode just over the course of the last 48 hours. Yeah. With incidents where, a gun is used, basically to shatter lives. Those of you guys that watch the news know what just happened in Indianapolis. We know what's going on in Brooklyn Center in Minnesota. We know what's happening. Or what happened in Chicago with another 13-year-old. And over the course of this 6 hours, we really want to dedicate time to trying to find answers and solutions to a problem that we should be able to wrap our arms around. You can call in. You can give us your story. There's a phone line that, if my producer's in my ear correctly, there's a phone line that we have that you can call, 720-337-4201. If you have a story that you'd like to share, and add your voice to this big conversation that we want to start, because it's a big cause that we want to put our efforts toward fixing. You can donate now. So again, you can share your story, 720, put that number back up for me again. 720-337-4201. You can donate at mendingrootsforest.com/donate. Donate now. Donate now. Donate now. Because, I see a lot of my friends, and I just finished doing a Instagram live, and I see a lot of people on the social medias stunting. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, they stunting.
And it's stimulus season. Right, you got your stimmy, right? And Reverend Lomena says, "Gimme,
give me."
And I don't, with no compunction. I don't have any shame in my game.
No, definitely not. Especially if you flashing it, man, put it to use. Do something righteous with some of them dollars.
K-Tone, real quick before we get into to the rest of the show, this is a subject that hits close to home for you. What are your initial thoughts? Like when you were asked to do this, what came to mind?
A lot of the friends I've lost, and I think it's dope, planting the trees, and doing something for the loved ones we lost, because I don't think we, even growing up, it started to become natural, and we don't do anything to, I don't know, we don't have really healing from that, so I just felt like it was important for me to be involved with it. Because of a lot of my past. I lost my first friend at 14 years old.
For sure.
To gun violence. I wasn't even in high school.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So this has been an ongoing issue, man, and I just felt like when I got the call for it, it was a no-brainer for me.
Yeah. I felt the same, and like I said, as I started counting through, and I've done the count, before, just like, damn, I lost a good chunk of my cohort, before these people were even old enough to vote or drive.
Any of that.
And in black and brown communities, often, this is an issue that we face, constantly.
Definitely.
And you could think back to last year's Juneteenth festival. Yeah. And what happened at that park in Aurora with a young man on the Day of Peace. Yeah. And so these are issues that we have to get our arms around. 200 trees will never, ever represent the full scope of what we've lost. Definitely but it's a start.
It's a start.
And it's and it's something symbolic that I think we can grow from.
Right. And we have to start somewhere.
We have to start somewhere.
We have to start somewhere. And this is big. I think this is big for the city and for us to start here.
Why not here? Why not with us? Definitely. Why not, so the 200 trees will be planted in Park Hill. Yeah. At the Park Hill Golf Course, and it's a forest. It's a forest that we're starting to commemorate the lives of just the youth that have fallen victim. And it's National Youth Violence Prevention Week. Yeah. There's no reason in the world that if we care about community, that we shouldn't first be protecting those most vulnerable. Definitely. Amongst us. And that goes a long way, Kay, because it's like it's also in teaching youth, conflict resolution skills, and really getting into our own sort of, underneath the rug issues that we have as a community, and how these things are perpetrated in
definitely
our neighborhood.
And I believe, it's healing, man. It's healing. It's all healing, and we weren't really taught that growing up. You know what I mean? How to heal properly or where to even start. Right. And like you said, I think this is a start for a lot of us, even grown, you know what I'm saying? And I think it's perfect, man. We really need everybody's support on this.
50 bands. 50. Me and K-Tone. 50. The Church of Mending Roots is open.
Open the church, man.
And we are asking of our friends, our family, our community, put your money where your mouth is.
Come on.
50 bands, and I'm gonna kick it off. Say again? Oh, donate now. Mendingrootsforest.com/donate. Mendingrootsforest.com/donate. $20, $50, $10, $100. I know there's some ballers out there that can go larger. And the point is to we're always asking, well, what can I do? Well, what can I do? something happens in our communities and we see an outcry of support on social media. We see a lot of people with a lot of opinions. Rare is the occasion, though, that you're actually given a blueprint as to what you can do to help affect change, as to what you can do to actually impact the situation. And like I said, planting 200 trees and starting a forest in Park Hill is a great place to start. It's a great symbolic place to start. It's a great place for us to jump off from and get into the conversation that needs to be had in our communities.
I don't see a better place to start, but Park Hill, you see my hat? Can you
Park
read
Hill,
it? Park Hill versus everybody.
Park Hill versus everybody.
Come on.
You know what? The Northeast Corridor, I'm from Montbello.
Yeah.
So the Northeast Corridor of Denver is no stranger to this pain.
Right.
East Side, Park Hill, Montbello, Aurora, North Side, West Side. Like we've all of our communities have been touched and in the wrong way. By this subject matter.
Definitely.
And now is the chance that we have the opportunity to do something about it, Kay.
Yeah. I mean, this is the best time. It's the best time. I mean, there's no other time than now, man. I mean, we not getting any younger. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's about saving lives too.
So the challenge is out there then. Yeah. In hour number 1, I want to raise 10 bands. You think we can do it?
Yeah.
If there's
the first hour?
If there's 100 people, if there's 100 people out there like myself and K-Tone, I'm gonna throw 100 at it. If we got 99 other people that are willing to throw $100 at this, we will have reached our goal of $10,000 in the first hour, which gets us that much closer to $50,000 and that much closer to starting this forest, to planting this forest. So donate now, mendingrootsforest.com/donate. Donate now, donate often, call up your people, tell all your friends what we're up to and what we're doing. So what we've got coming up in this show is a lot of stories to be told. But next we'll be hearing from Marsha Fields, and it's a story worth hearing as well. So we're gonna kick to that now? Still? We got some messages. All right, well, let's go to some messages, and then we'll get to Marsha Fields, and then K-Tone and I will be back with more of the Mending Roots to Cultivate Community Telethon. More in a moment.
What's up, Denver? I'm Mayor Michael Hancock, and I am Mending Roots to Cultivate Communities. You know, youth violence is a continuing crisis that inflicts a devastating toll on our community. That's why Denver has adopted a public health approach to this emergency. And in recognition of this year's National Youth Violence Prevention Week, the Office of Children's Affairs is proud to support the Mending Roots Telethon. The funds raised will engage young people to plant 200 trees in Northeast Park Hill, which will collectively represent lives lost and serve as a living memorial for many families impacted by gun violence. Youth violence is a pressing issue in our communities that my office is making a priority. We hope you will join us to help keep our young people safe.
I bring you greetings from the great state of Colorado, where I serve as a state senator for Senate District 29 in Arapahoe County in Aurora. I'm so proud and so excited to support the Mending Roots initiative to bring awareness to the National Youth Violence Prevention. I want to thank you for the groundbreaking work you are doing to tackle so many challenges that we face in our state and in our nation and in our community. Keep up the good work.
My name is Maisha Fields.
I got you.
And I belong to a club that no one wants to be a part of. My brother, Javad Marshall Fields, and his beautiful fiancée, Vivian Wolf, were gunned down tragically on June 20th of 2005. My brother had a bright future in front of him, He had just graduated from Colorado State 15 days prior. He was looking forward to a phenomenal career as a lobbyist. He was a social justice advocate. He was a good friend, and he was my brother.
And we are back, joined in studio by Maisha Fields, the board president of the Mending Roots Forest Foundation. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
This mission that you've been on is heartfelt for you because as a victim, obviously, of youth gun violence, it hit home for you and it set into you doing something about it. Talk about the importance of, first of all, how your brother's murder affected your family, and then how that inspired you to go further and take it to this level.
Yeah, well, thank you for that question, and it's truly an honor and privilege to be the board chair for Mending Roots. I think this is a historic day because we are not only on the eve of Columbine,
right,
but we've also lost 8 people yesterday in Indianapolis. And over the course of this month, we have lost 38 people due to mass shootings.
45 mass shootings since the beginning of the year.
That's right, 45 for the year. And so there is an uptick. And in America, we have a problem and an unhealthy relationship with guns.
Yes.
And even outside of our relationship with guns, we have not fully begun to understand, to research, or to deal with in a strategic manner the cycle of violence, and especially how we see the cycle of violence in Black and brown communities. You know, my brother was murdered on June 20th. He was my best friend. We grew up very, very close. And, you know, I always had to take my brother with me. So if I had a Girl Scout meeting, Javad had to come with me.
Right.
You know, my mother brought me a car just so that I could take him to soccer practice, just so that I had to pick him
take
up.
Take your little brother
right.
with you.
That was just it. And when I went to CSU, he followed me up to CSU, and he graduated from CSU. And when you work so hard as a single Black woman, and you get both of your kids through school, and you think that you're playing by the rules, think that you're doing everything the right way, going to church, after school, volunteering, showing up in life and being present for your kids, you never expect to lose a child on either side of the coin, right? No matter what you do, when you birth a child into the universe, you want to see them live. And so I think the hardest part for us is how do you change, how do you turn your pain into purpose?
Sure.
And that's what I've been working on. And this project, this initiative is doing that. It's giving families an opportunity to turn some of the most horrific things that they've been through, to turn their ashes into some form of a crown of beauty. And I think that we do that through service, through allowing people to go through the stages of grief, but also realizing that when we lose someone, they're planted.
Absolutely.
And that's what Mending Roots is.
You know, as you're saying that, you know, the Bible verse, I guess you'd say, you know, from dust you came and to dust you shall return.
That's right.
Comes to mind. And you know, I've been lucky. While I've lost friends to gun violence, I've never had a family member ripped from us. It's you know, I lost my mother at 13, but it was to breast cancer. Similar circumstance in terms of the pain, but not the same when you think of like just how senseless youth gun violence is and can be. What over the course of this last 16 years have you learned about some of the conditions under which one youth finds themselves in a position of power, really, to take another's life? And how do we address that? How do we address, you know, just guns being in the hands of young people in our communities?
That is a great question, and one of the reasons why I was honored to take the position to be board chair is Mending Roots is going to have a strong strategic angle towards making gun violence a public health issue.
Okay.
And what that means is that we got to go to the root of the problem. A lot of it is conflict resolution.
Absolutely. I always say that.
Right?
Resolution
How do you
skills.
de-escalate a situation? You know, so many times I'll be out and you'll see young men and just the way they look at each other, you know, and somebody will feel threatened. And somebody will say, you know, what you looking at? And I'm not going to use the profanity they say, but they say that.
Right.
And then the next moment, they're pulling out a gun.
That's right.
And so we have to recognize that it's conflict resolution, but there's also a heart matter in this thing. So what type of place are people in where they think it's okay to take a life?
Right.
To take somebody's sister, mother, daughter, child? Where are they in life? And what type of mental health issues are they going through?
True.
I think it's important that we have to address that our black men and white men, when you think about who's committing gun violence, it is men. And we have to address this as a public health issue, which includes addressing how people handle conflict, how they're dealing with stress, how they're dealing with their fears, and how they don't feel a sense of belonging to who God has called them to be.
Oftentimes, I wonder what your thoughts are on this. Oftentimes, we can see the disparity in the type of gun violence that is experienced in separate communities. Let's group black and brown over here, and then young white. And what brings us to mind is we're on the eve of Columbine. The lash out seems oftentimes in one community to be very emotional and maybe mentally and emotionally based. And then on the other, almost our youth in black and brown communities almost feel like they're in survival mode. Socioeconomic status would probably play into that. Have you noticed anything over the course of your time tackling this issue that can be dealt with directly from a very, I guess it's not as nuanced perspective when it comes to socioeconomic status?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's lots of ways people get guns.
Right.
And I think that we need to trace that back to how people are getting guns.
Yeah.
So when we think about our mass shootings, those are shootings where what we call in-family fire, which means that someone got a gun that was not locked in their parents' home or in someone else's home. And typically, people will use those guns for mass shootings or to commit suicide.
True.
Or to kill their wife. So that's the domestic violence, what we call the Charleston loophole. In the black community, in the brown community, and in urban communities, we get our guns illegally.
Off top.
Okay?
I mean, just keeping it a buck.
Right, let's just keep it real. We get our guns illegally, and I have the pleasure of working with, for Brady, as their vice president. There's a man who just used to work at ATF.
Okay.
And I asked him the other day, what is the largest amount of guns you've ever confiscated at one time? And he told me 6,000. Okay, so 6,000 guns in an urban community, in the black community, where you can't get a gun. I mean, you can't get fresh fruits and vegetables.
I was going to say, yeah.
You can't get fresh fruits and right. You have a food desert. You have book deserts, but you can get access to a gun. And so in our communities, it is about a public safety issue, right? Where, you know, people feel like they're threatened when they're walking to school. They have to walk through, you know, areas that are trafficked by people who are in gangs.
That's right.
Or who are selling drugs. And so it's a mechanism of safety. And so this is not about taking people's Second Amendment rights away.
No.
Right? Everyone deserves to be safe in their community.
Absolutely.
And if people feel like they need to have a gun to do so, I'm okay with that.
Me too.
What I'm not okay with is not having a pause, right? So when we look at the young man that just died in Chicago, the 13-year-old.
True.
Where was the pause?
You know, with the time that we have left, I'm glad that you brought that up, because when I'm watching that video, something that stuck out to me, two things. The time of day, night, it's 2 a.m. It's a 13-year-old child.
That's right.
That's a baby. And the story, you know, as you do your investigation, he was out with somebody who was obviously an adult, about a 21-year-old that was also apprehended. And the fact that he actually had the weapon. Did the child deserve to die? Of course not. But when do we as a community, I do want to touch on this, over the course of this next 6 hours, when do we as a community really get into our issues of responsibility for our children, where they end up, how they end up, single parent home or not, and really take this onus on ourselves and maybe pull the curtain back on some issues that we don't really want to or like to talk about out loud?
You know, when do we do it? We do it now.
Absolutely.
We do it today. So for, you know, anyone who has children on your block, in your family, if you don't have children, if you're the, you know, the big homie, a cousin, whoever you are, we should be asking our kids, do you have a gun?
Right.
Do any of your friends have a gun? We should be asking our kids, our loved ones, are you, the car that you're about to get in, does anyone in that car have a gun? We should be looking through our kids' rooms, under the beds. We should be professional investigators as it relates to our youth and our young people, with the intention to cultivate their minds,
yes,
their talent and their potential. The problem is our young people flock to where they get attention.
And power.
And power. And if you're not around people who are investing in you in a positive way, but in another direction you have people who are investing in you in a negative way, you'll still go there, because people make you feel good, they make you feel loved, and they're investing the wrong skills in you, but you still have a skill.
Let's talk about May 1st then. We're talking about skills and for, you know, coming up in an urban circumstance, not often is outside in nature thought of as, you know, coincidental with how we come up.
That's right.
Let's talk about how people can volunteer and get involved with the planting of these 200 trees on May 1st.
Yes. So we have the privilege of living in Colorado. I think it's the most beautiful state in the country. We have the most days of sunshine, and you're absolutely right. We have food deserts, but we also have tree deserts.
Yeah.
And the Park Hill Golf Course is a part of that. As you go from Park Hill into Swansea and Elyria, you also see a lower air quality and also an increase in violence. And air quality is important to the way we live our lives, to feeling safe in your community. So this is important because each tree will represent a person who died way too soon to gun violence. And it's an opportunity to create a healing pathway for families who have been impacted by it, but also communities who've been impacted by it. And so we need volunteers, we need financial resources. We don't want to stop at 200 trees. I mean, I'd love to stop, but the only time I'm going to stop planting a tree is when gun violence stops.
Hey.
And so if you think about 100 people dying from gun violence every day, for the whole week, we should plant 700. And in order to get there, we need everyone's help.
Yeah. So where can people go online and find out and sign up?
Well, I'm so excited that you have our website
Bam!
right here.
Bam!
So go online and donate, sign up to volunteer. And I can say that I also want to thank our sponsors and the people who have contributed to this. We have a lot of frontline people like the McBride Project with Jason McBride. We have the Brady Campaign, Giffords, and Everytown national organizations who are helping to participate. And so I want everybody who's listening, my pastor used to say, under the sound of my voice.
Under the sound of my voice.
Under the sound of my voice, to dig into your pockets and give $10.
We are right there with you, Maisha, and I'm going to take it a step further. If you got 10, you got 20. If you got 20, you probably got 50. If you got 50, you got 100. The church is open. You got that STEMI? Reverend Lamena and Reverend Fields say, gimme.
Yes.
Speaking of Gabby Giffords and the Giffords Foundation, we do have a message from that foundation. Thank you so much for your time, for this effort, for your inspiration, for your heart for community, And we will be here with you every step of the way, making sure we reach our goals.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, elbow it out. Thank you.
Hi there, my name is Vic. I'm the president of the Gifford Gun Owners for Safety Colorado chapter and a proud board member of the Mending Roots Forest Project. In 2011, while meeting with her constituents at a grocery store in Tucson, Arizona, Gabby Gifford was shot in the head. 17 others were injured and 6 people died, including Christina Green, who was just 9 years old. Since that tragic day, Gabby has found the courage to learn how to read, write, and walk again. However, her recovery didn't stop there. She ended up launching a national movement to prevent gun violence in America. I'm happy to introduce you to Gabby as she talks about the importance of her fight.
It's time for courage. We must do something. We must stop gun violence. Protect our children, our future, let them lead the way. Make our country a safer place, a better place. Do you have the courage to fight? Please join your voice with mine.
They don't have mics. You got another rolling? Fill it.
What are we going to? We got Phil 10 seconds. We're going to fill Last Supper track.
For the home for the city. VG. Tidy. Trey Asher. Last Supper, let's get it.
It's my time to shine, I waited way too long. I had a couple people try to stop my grind, but they ain't know this ambition that I got, I mean it's guaranteed to blow. I lost my granny, man, and that stuff still hit home. These inner demons killing me, so-called friends envy me. They hate the fact I'm winning, to be honest, it's the God in me. I never needed friends, I always keep it distance. They pray up on my downfall, they can relate to what I'm spitting. I don't understand, but it's all a part of God's plan. I've been through hell and back, but I'ma make it to the end. They ask me how I feel, I don't know honestly. I just keep it silent, but a lot of things bother me. Lost a couple soldiers to the streets and it's taunting me. Really can't believe it, but I know they watching over me. I never question God's plan, this is what it's supposed to be. Never needed sympathy, y'all can keep your empathy.
I done felt the pain, I done lived it for some years. Mama always told me, baby, get up out of here. Put my city on, yeah, put my city on. Put my city on, yeah, put my city on. Lost my day, went to the streets and it still hurts still. Gotta grind hard, man, it's my golden year. Put my city on, yeah, put my city on. Put my city on, yeah, put my city on. Grinding don't stop, even when I hit the top. We going up from here, this is all year. Tryna be great, I know they gon' hate, but when I eat, we all get a plate. Love thy neighbor, love thyself. Young people, focus on your wealth. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. I vowed to fight despite what you look like, so listen up. Your smile's made of gold. I love you if you haven't been told. I know it gets real cold when you alone, but where you stand, that's your throne. I lost my brother to a gun, so you know I ain't done. Run the game, that's the end goal. We coming up, this a signal. We ballin' out. Where's Kendall? Nationwide hero. Yes, sir. I done felt the pain, I done lived it for some years. Mama always told me, baby, get up out of here. Put my city on, yeah, put my city on. Put my city on, yeah, put my city on. Lost my day, went to the streets and it still hurts still. Gotta grind hard, man, it's my golden year. Put my city on, yeah, put my city on. Put my city on, yeah, put my city on. They're so proud of me. They're so proud of me. So proud of me. So proud of me. They're so proud of me. They're so proud of me. They're so proud of me. I put my city on the map to see the finer things. Yeah, I know they're proud of me. I put my city on the map to see the finer things. Yeah, I know they're proud of me. I put my city on the map to see the finer things. Yeah, I know they're proud of me. I put my city on the map to see the finer things. Yeah, I know they're proud of me.
Mending Roots to Cultivate Communities Telethon. Make sure that you donate, and you donate again. Go to mendingrootsforest.com/donate. I'm in the middle of doing that right now. And while I was doing so, as that video from Last Supper was playing, I have two members sitting here with me right now. Mode, Ford, and Treyasha. Treyasha, what's your last name?
Decker.
Yeah. Two of the members of Last Supper.
Yeah.
Welcome to the telethon. Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Let's start first of all with just your background. We'll start ladies first. Where are you from within Denver, and how did you come together as a group?
I was born and raised in Denver, Colorado.
Okay,
5 Points.
Okay.
Honestly, I've been doing music for a long time. I started doing music when I was 12. And that's pretty much it. And Virgil, he sings, so then we just came together one night and we made a song. It was like, we need to be a group. And so Tavy raps too. So that's how it all came about, honestly.
And for you, Mo?
Yeah, I'm Mo. I'm from Montbello. I'm from the Bells.
Bell side up.
Yeah, I'm from the Bells, and how I got into it, I'm just a creator, you know. I'm a creator on all levels, and just, you know, started doing music and kind of harvested their potential. So, you know, it's really about them, you know, the youngins. So
the subject matter within the content is different than many of your peers. You guys take on and tackle social issues. Why is that important to you as artists? Either or.
Honestly, I just feel like growing up, sometimes I feel like I wasn't heard. And I think for like me, like writing my music and like also like talking about like a social injustice and stuff through a song, it's touching, but also it's like catchy to them too.
Right.
So that's like the main thing for me, I would say.
Is it something that can, you know, because personally, you know, and we were talking about with Maisha, we were talking about the 13-year-old young man in Chicago. It was just, you know, shot and killed by the police. And his lifestyle, it's 2:36 in the morning, he actually had a gun, would say that it was conducive to being in the wrong place at the wrong time, to say the least. Mm-hmm. And it got me thinking about a lot of what I see. I'm an MC, okay? So a lot of what I see in my day, a lot of what I see though in today's version of hip hop glorifies what is probably always glorified, but it's almost more maximalized now with, you know, the guns and, you know, and the subject matter. Mode, for you, where does that sit with you in terms of just the state of hip hop? And two, is that why you approach, you know, your art the way that you do?
You know, first and foremost, it's just, I try not to judge, just really giving, I think it's them, you know, trying to be creative and using it as an outlet, but it's just all about redirecting those ideas. Everything comes from an idea, and what we just try to do is just give people a platform to be true to themselves,
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And really just kind of redirect that energy, you know what I mean? And that's really what it's about right there.
It might be cliche, I might be cherry picking, but East Sider, Bell Sider,
yeah.
I'm quite sure that gun violence is something that is at least within
mm-hmm.
the sphere of your experience. Either or, wherever you want to start, how has gun violence, youth gun violence in particular, affected your lives?
Honestly, a couple months ago, I lost my little cousin to gun violence, so it was really hard on my family, and we just like want to stop to it. So it impacted me like super, super huge, and I'm still like grieving from that and stuff like that.
For sure.
So yeah, that's how it impacted me.
Mo?
Yeah, just over the years, you lose a lot of friends, a lot of the youth, family, things like that, and you just want to show the youth, you know, whoever that, we're the gold. You know, we are the real gold, and to value each other. That's really what it's all about. And just to love each other, like who taught us to really hate each other?
Right.
Everybody's special, but it's just like learning to love each other, get rid of that self-hate. You know, who taught me that my brother and my sister is not as good as me, you know what I mean? And just come together, mending roots.
I mean, that's a quality question. Like when it comes to self-loathing, and within our community, I think you could sort of trace, you know, the issues that we're having somewhat back to that. Combating that is hard though, right? Because that happens within families. We can talk about, you know, book smarts or, you know, higher education, higher learning, things like that can happen from a corporate experience. Self-love is something that can only be taught within the home. For both of you, your experience coming up, what was that who was that person? Who was that influence in your life that caused you to look at life through a different perspective than some of your peers?
Honestly, my mother, she's a single parent to 3 kids. And so like just watching her and like her instilling the core values of being like a successful young black woman was very inspiring to me. And just seeing her like just raising 2 boys on her own too, that's hard. Like not only like being a single mother and raising me, but she raised my 2 brothers. And so that was very like inspiring. And I grew alongside with like other strong women like my godmom. She's a very strong black woman. So that's like the main thing. They always like told me I was beautiful, because growing up being a chocolate girl, sometimes you didn't love yourself. And I'm still trying to find love in myself too. That's why I say it through my music, you know? So like, yeah, just growing up, they always reminded me, you're beautiful, you're just as great as the next person, so yeah.
Straight up. Mo?
I got a lot of people that have, just from coaches, you know, I've taken something from everybody. My grandparents, they've been just pillars in my life, so I say I'll take it from them, just teaching me about love and just respect and things like that, just values, and yeah. So
let's talk about DeVarie Armstrong, a young man made mention of in one of your songs. Talk about what that relationship meant to you. We actually will have his parents on later on in the program. Talk about your relationship with DeVarie.
Yeah, DeVarie, just a great young man. You know, I actually met him. I met him through Sean White, and he was training. You know, I got to meet him and was doing some like work itself and things like that, just teaching and everything like that. And I got to meet him. Just a great young man, full of life. All the youngins, you know, they loved him, and it's just a sad situation. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I can see it, you know what I mean, on your face. It still sits with you. And it's, when people are ripped away from us in these manners, you know, it's hard to deal with death regardless. You know what I mean? It's a question that we're all constantly asking ourselves. I think once you get old enough to understand that life is not infinite in this state.
Yeah.
Bad enough to lose a family member or a loved one to something natural. When it's something unexpected, and especially when it's something violent and unexpected, it can shake you to your core, you know what I mean, and change the way that you look at the world. I'm glad, though, I'm always encouraged to see young people who are choosing a different way of going about expressing that pain and trying to put out a message that, you know, at least encourages, you know, your peers to do the same. You guys are going to be performing, though, here in a second, though.
Yeah.
So I can do all the talking that I want.
Yeah.
Let's get to the action. Agreed?
Yeah, agreed. And real quick, I just want to say, yeah, you know, DeVarie, his legacy is inspiring.
Yes.
You know, a lot of people, and you know, people just smile like DeVarie. But yeah, his legacy is impacting a lot of people, and yeah, it's crazy because, you know, after that happened, you know, it was a coach that hit me up asking about him, you know, and I was like, I had to break it to the coach, like, yeah, he's no longer with us.
No longer with us.
Yeah, so that was another tough thing, because the coach was like, hey, you know, there's a DB at South I'm looking at. It's like, yeah, coach.
No longer.
Yeah, so, but his legacy will live on. You know, his family, his mother, everybody's, you know, carrying out the legacy, representing. So, spirit's still here, and shout out to you guys.
Man, that's deep. That's
Yeah.
deep, and I just noticed, like, both of you, like, even when you're talking about it, though, you know, I mean, there's a smile that you carry with yourself, that joy that's still with you, and energy is important.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the despair is, I think, what can take and turn things into a completely different situation. And maybe people are looking more for retribution than they are for answers and healing. So I commend both of you on your work, and I'm looking forward to see you guys performing live here in a second. So where are we going now, Sil? I'm talking to my producer. We'll step away for a second, have some messages, and then when we come back, a live performance from Last Supper. Yay!
I am Treyasha Decker, an artist from Denver, Colorado, and I am mending roots to cultivate communities.
Hello everyone, my name is Virgil Jerdine, and I am the vocalist of the group, The Last Supper. And I am mending roots to cultivate communities.
All right, guys, we are The Last Supper. Today we're going to be singing. We're going to be doing our song, Fighting Through the Struggle. Fighting through the struggle, fighting through the struggle, fighting through the struggle, fighting through the struggle, fighting through the struggle.
Keep fighting.
Fighting through the struggle, fighting through the struggle. Fighting through the struggle.
Look, depression where I come from isn't normalized. You either hop off the porch or you get victimized. This is uncensored America, you see through my eyes. We see that black on black crime, police killing black lives. They try to patronize the youth by telling all these lies. They say we free, that's the only stuff they like to televise. Ain't stuff been civil since Martin Luther King's homicide. And ain't stuff been real woke since Malcolm X died. These people say they know loyalty, but they really don't. I don't need a group for validation, I've been on my own. Forget a counselor, rather pour my heart out in a song than have a white lady sit down and tell me what she think is wrong. I have my closest friends turn yet to my enemy. Better yet, my family undercoverly envy me. Demons, yeah, chasing me, trying to take my sanity. It's a World War II in my brain. It ain't humanity.
Fighting through the struggle, 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 fighting through the struggle. We fighting through the struggle.
Look, hands up, don't shoot. Black men on mute. They killing us and searching us like we have some loot. You can cuff me, you can shoot me, but one thing you won't do is mute me. I'ma grind for my community, focus on that unity. Young black king search for opportunity. See, it's hard, like my name Spike Lee. Young activist, you know me. I'ma grind for the EC. Mama's crying, brothers dying. The white man, he's always lying. Understand this, you ain't never been in my shoes. Mama always told me to pay my dues. I'ma grind like my granny did.
Yeah.
I'ma grind like my family did.
Yeah.
Never give up, keep my head up. Looking to the sky, dang God, man, I'm fed up.
Fighting through the struggle, fighting through the struggle, fighting through the struggle. We fighting through the struggle, fighting through the struggle. Fighting through the struggle, fighting through the struggle. Fighting through the struggle, we want change.
Davari Armstrong.
We want change, yeah, we want change.
Everybody keep y'all's head up.
We want change, we want change.
Davari Armstrong.
We want change, yeah, we want change.
Everybody keep y'all's head up.
We want change, change. Yeah.
Look, we do this for Davari Armstrong, Kobe Island, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Elijah McClain. We grinding, baby. We don't stop. Keep our heads up.
For everybody.
Okay. All right, so we gonna turn it up just a little bit.
Put my city on.
Let's put the city on real quick.
City on.
Hey, if y'all want to y'all just stand up, get up. Let's do it. Let's do it. And we gonna do it. All right, do your thing.
Let's go.
It's my time to shine. I waited way too long. I had a couple people try to stop my grind, but they ain't know this ambition that I got. I mean, it's guaranteed to blow. I lost my granny, man, and that stuff still hit home. These inner demons killing me. So-called friends envy me. They hate the fact I'm winning. To be honest, it's the God in me. I never needed friends. I always keep a distance. They pray up on my downfall. They can relate to what I'm spitting. I don't understand, but it's all a part of God's plan. I've been through hell and back, but I'ma make it to the end. They ask me how I feel. I don't know, honestly. I just keep it silent, but a lot of things bother me. Lost a couple soldiers to the streets, and it's taunting me. Really can't believe it, but I know they watching over me. I never question God's plan. This is what it's supposed to be. Never needed sympathy. Y'all can keep y'all empathy.
I done felt the pain, I done lived it for
Yes,
some
sir.
years.
Yeah.
Mama always told me, baby, get up out of here. Put my city on, yeah, put my city on. Put my city on, yeah, put my city on.
Okay.
Lost my day, went to the streets,
And it still hurts still.
Yeah.
Gotta grind hard, man, it's my golden year. Put my city on, yeah, put my city on. Put my city on, yeah, put my
Let's get
city
it.
on.
Grinding don't stop, even when I hit the top.
Yeah.
We going up from here. This is all year. Trying to be great. I know they gonna hate, but when I eat, we all get a plate.
Yeah.
Love thy neighbor, love thyself. Young people, focus on your wealth.
Tell 'em.
Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. I vowed to fight despite what you look like. So listen up,
Hey.
your smile's made of gold. I love you if you haven't been told. I know it gets real cold when you alone, but where you stand, that's your throne. I lost my brother to a gun, so you know I ain't done. Run the game, that's the end goal.
Yeah.
We coming up, this is signal. We ballin' out. Where's Kindle?
Yeah.
Nationwide hero.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let's get it.
What?
I done felt the pain, I done lived it for
Yes,
some
sir.
years. Mama always told me, baby, get up out of here. Put my city on, yeah, put my city on. Put my city on, yeah, put my city on. Lost my day, went to the streets, and it still hurts still. Gotta grind hard, man, it's my golden year. Put my city on, yeah, put my city on.
Put the city
Put my
on.
city on, yeah,
Put the city on.
They're so proud of me.
They proud
of you. what?
They're so proud of me. So proud of me.
They proud of me.
They're so proud of me.
They proud of me.
They're so proud of me. So proud of me.
Let's get it.
I put my city on the map to see the finer things.
Hey.
Yeah, I know they're proud of me.
I put my city on the map to see the finer things. Yeah, I know they proud of me. I put my city on the map to see the finer things.
Hey.
Y'all turn up with us.
Yeah,
I know they proud of me.
What?
I put my city on the map to see the finer things.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I know they proud of me.
I put my city on. Yeah, I put my city on.
I put my city on, yeah, put my city on.
Hey.
I put my city on. Yeah, I put my city on.
Put my city on, yeah, put my city on.
Yes,
City
sir.
on. Let's get
Hey,
it.
Sir, Last Supper.
Last Supper, man. Y'all great people, man. All love. Beautiful faces.
Shout
We
out
out.
Mending Roots.
Turn up, turn up.
Donate now. Where that camera at? I want to show y'all something. How easy that was to do. And this ain't stunting. This ain't showing off. This is more so just to say that right now we have an opportunity. We have an opportunity. You have an opportunity to actually affect change. Everybody's always wondering what they can do. What can I do? What can I do? Something happens, a tragedy happens in one of our communities. Everybody's got an opinion on how it happened or who it happened to or why it happened or who needs to be blamed. You put your money where your mouth is, though, Kay.
Definitely.
You know, there's nothing wrong with sometimes just having a couple less opinions and spending a couple more dollars. So I want to, I got to get up to do it.
Sean.
I got to get up to do it.
It was easy.
Where is it? Where the camera at? There it is. There it is. Zoom in on that right there. It's easy. Go to Mending Roots.
Yeah.
Go to Mending Roots. Ah, there it is. Go to Mending Roots, right? Forest.com/donate. It's that simple. And I threw down a hundo, and that's not to say that I'm balling out of control. That's just to say that, I threw 100 on it. And I feel like if over the course of the next 5 hours, 5 hours, K, we can get 100 more people to do that.
Yeah.
Now that really, I want to do that every hour.
Yeah.
We need 100 people every hour to donate something. 100, 50, 20, 10.
Something.
It's real easy.
Something.
I wanted to say, I wanted to get your thoughts on something, Kay.
Okay.
These are some interesting stats. Annually, more than 3,000 children, that would be people aged 0 to 19, are shot and killed, and 15,000 shot and wounded. That's an average of 51 young people in America a day affected by gun violence. This is the part that got to me. An estimated 3 million children witness a shooting each year. Now, I know you're a father.
Yeah.
A great father. How's your son doing, by the way? I mean,
well, I have 3 of them, but my oldest.
Your oldest, he just went off to school, right?
Yeah, we've been there second year.
Second year?
He's good, man. And honestly, we have these talks all the time. Him and my middle son, and it's a shame that we really have to have these talks, but we do, And I mean, he's had friends, that's been victims as just like we have.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I pray for my son every day, 2-3 times a day, just for him alone.
Right.
Because he is far away. He is, a young black male. He could look intimidating to someone.
Right.
You know what I mean? But the nicest person. So it's hard, man. It's not really easy raising kids nowadays in the society that we live in.
No, it's not. And I got daughters. I got 23-year-old, 17-year-old, and a 14-year-old.
Yeah.
And with girls, it's a little different.
Yeah.
Right. In certain regard.
Right.
There's certain things that you just probably won't catch young ladies involved in.
Right.
How, Kay, you emulate the walk in the way you live your lifestyle. So that, to me, that's all. Somebody can tell me what their philosophies are. I'm going to see what you're about in the way that you live your life.
Definitely.
How do we reach these sometimes hardened, I don't know if they've been through the same circumstances that we've been through, but sometimes hardened young men that really feel like, I used to always say to the homies, like, if I'm leaving the crib, and we going out for a Friday night or a Saturday night, and one of the homies has to take a gun with him, I'm like, are you Jason Bourne, bro? Like, what, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is it that you're into? And how do we reach that mentality that's kind of permeated through our young men in terms of what is tough, what is gangster?
I think it starts with us. Well, for me, I'll just tell you my approach and how I really see things and do things and live. It's by show and tell. Like, that's how I don't tell my kids to do something that I haven't done or not doing.
Straight up.
You know what I'm saying? I can't tell my son, you can't go out there and gang bang if I'm gang banging.
Right.
You know what I mean? So for me, that's where it starts for me and my kids and my house and my little nephews and you know what I'm saying? I show them, from my actions, and I think it kind of starts there, man, because, we have a lot of influence. We have more influence than we know over some of these kids, man. And I think, they look at a lot of what we do.
Right.
You know what I mean? They look at a lot of what we do and they follow a lot of what we do, man, whether we know it or not.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think it really just starts with us, man. We have to do more doing. And, you know what I'm saying?
No, I mean, quite honestly, Kay, because I'm well into my 40s, and the summer of violence was real to me.
Yeah,
I lived
it's real. It was definitely
real.
real.
What I'm saying? And sort of experienced the onset of gang violence in Denver in terms of just us adopting, ways of the West Coast.
Yeah.
And so when you say do the doing, it's like, well, we saw the blocks change. We saw the neighborhood change. We saw the neighborhood take on this new way of being amongst one another that wasn't just, your regular external beef. It became sets, gang culture.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest with you, I don't fully think that I think that's a rite of passage.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's inherently just, for people to get together and organize themselves in any way, shape, or form. It's something but it's the residual effect.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? And it isn't always, over, drug money or something like that. It's usually something that's more people trying to prove their manhood. And when you talk about walking the walk and being that man, that's something I think that everybody can relate to. Now, one thing I am going to ask, we brought DJ K-Tone on here for his opinions. Yeah. We also brought him on here for his spinning style. So anytime you're ready, bro, you get, load something up.
I mean, we get down.
Spin.
I'll stay ready. I'll stay ready,
If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
Yeah, I'll do a little something.
So the sounds of DJ K-Tone will play us out. Hour number 1 is in the books. We'll get back to some numbers. Some hard numbers of what we've seen people doing in terms of donating toward a very worthy cause. The Mending Roots to Cultivate Communities Telethon right here at Denver Community Television, mendingrootsforest.com/donate if you want to give your funds.
Look, let's have a toast. Come put your cups up. This black excellence has always been enough. It feel good when you feel life is on the up and up. You think it's cooties how these things touching us. You'll be surprised how much can happen when you manifest. You'll be surprised the art created when you hella stressed. I can't recall experiencing being second best. Guaranteed they felt my absence when it left. Yeah, now I'm back and in full effect. Couple cards on you, I ain't pull them yet. Please believe if shots come, it's never indirect. I got them nervous like a virgin when you mention sex. Everything glitter ain't gold or so it's told. All I know is black don't crack and shouldn't fold. Every showing you love isn't your bros. What my peers claim is they goals, I'm living those.
Is it arrogant? DJ K-Tone, a black
Mama led to 109. I'ma keep my dream alive for every year she survived. I'ma keep wiping my eyes till I bloom what's inside. Because they say we doomed to die, so I gotta get mine. If my people made it for me, then I gotta know that I'm good. They let white hoods in the black hood, but not black hoodies and white hoods. They wore white hoods and black hoods and didn't see no wrong. But wearing black hoods and white hoods to get you Trayvon. That's the reason I stay strong. We didn't they hate on, ain't shit to wait on. Trying to get my getting paid on. Black excellence can't be defined or they dead. Hating dreads, hanging set, banging, educated, dedicated. Shout out to G's, V's, Crips, and the blood hitters. Baby mamas, fathers, and scholars. We ain't no dumb. I feel like we all young, rich, and black. I feel like we where our ancestors wanted set. Black excellence.
Is it arrogant or black excellence? Promise we gon' shine. It's the elegant black excellence. DJ K-Tone, what's happening?
Black is beautiful. Yes, it is. Black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. Yes, it is. Black is beautiful. Come on. You can say that I'm clearly comfortable up in my own skin. This one's for the melanin. This one's for the melanin. Everyone who holds the elements of the melanin. Stand up, stand up. Put your fist in the air if you're feeling the anthem.
Now ain't nobody being biased, I'm just stating facts. When I think about greatness, it goes back to black. I think about all the pain our people went through. The history was wiped out. Our people built America, the monuments, the White House. Barely got the credit, man, the names was never mentioned. Invented electric railways, home security systems. It's heated in the summer, as hot as it may be. You can thank a black man for inventing the AC. Traffic light, blood bank, gas mask, it gets greater, bruh. You walking up a lot of stairs without the elevator, huh? Refrigerator stoves, your TV remote control created the guitar, the jam, we got soul. Spark plug motor, we roll, I'm so proud of us. Screaming at the top of my lungs to make it obvious. No rights, no education, but managed to still win. We don't know where we going if we don't know where we been, no excuse. Black is beautiful. Yes, it is. Black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. Yes, it is. Black is beautiful. Come on. You can say that I'm clearly comfortable up in my own skin. This one's for the melanin. This one's for the melanin. Everyone who wants the elements of the relative.